Amazon workers are gearing up to, hey, forgive me, kick the ass of the Bezos class. Oh, yeah. Yes, one spark can create a prairie fire, say Albany Amazon fulfillment warehouse workers filing for a union election. Catching the fire, no doubt, from their sibling workers' victory, the Amazon Workers Union at their Staten Island Fulfillment Center warehouse facility. They're organizing for a union.
They were joined by Amazon worker organizers who ignited the spark of union amongst their fellow workers. Heather Goodall, an Amazon lead organizer, Kimberly Rollins, Amazon worker, and Masood Abdullah, Amazon worker.
Hey, greetings, fellow union advocates. It is great to have you with us. And I want to begin with, I insisted, and I couldn't possibly be wrong, could I, that what's really going on now is that workers are rising up, low-wage workers are rising up, workers who seem to be almost in impossible situations are taking the bull by the horns, literally and figuratively, and working to a union. And I want to find out what created the inspiration for each one of you to begin to tackle the Bezos monster and to organize a union. And thank you so much for the work that you're doing and for being with us and championing the issues of the working class. And well, I don't know. Let's start with Heather. And then each one of you take the ball and carry it. This is really your forum.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having us. And I want to confirm that, yes, we are kicking ass, and we are taking the bull by the horns. And my inspiration for the union efforts was the answer that each employee gave when they were asked, what is it that you like about Amazon? We talk so much about the horrid working conditions, their aggressive tactics, their coercion, but there has to be something. And every single answer was the people. So to see these people supporting each other without a voice, without support, really inspired me to say it's time that these people who clearly care about each other have an opportunity to form a union. These were people that were trying to support each other because they were having difficulty financially, with their health, with their family, because Amazon was neglecting them by not paying fair wages, by forcing them into these working conditions. So I'd have to say my inspiration came directly from the people that needed that voice.
So Masood and certainly Kimberly, join in. Masood?
Yes, I'm here. Yes, I'm here.
And your inspiration, your thoughts, what Heather said, and more that's relevant to you and why you are partaking in this effort. And then certainly, Kimberly, your thoughts as well. Okay.
Basically, the same thing Kimberly said. Support of others. No, that's what makes you there, not really the higher ups. They don't really interact. It's the workers that keep you pushing. You know what I mean?
How long have you worked there?
2.
You worked there a short period of time. But so why did you come to the position, before we bring Kimberly into the discussion as well, why did you come to the position that a union was the right way to go?
Oh, because I feel that it would be, the workers will be better protected because it doesn't seem like you could really say anything to them once they make their decision.
Right, maybe you can share, right, and share your experience of what happened on Saturday.
Oh, on Saturday, yeah. See, that's another thing why the union worked this good. The incident on Saturday, there was a pallet hanging out. Looking up for the numbers, pallet hanging out. Saran wrap went into the machine. The pallet went into the machine, pierced the machine. They breathalyzed me, and they took urine test, and they made me go back to the docking side of the floor.
Mm.
So this is just not an isolated occurrence. This kinds of thing happen frequently, do they not?
They do.
This is, um, it happens a lot. It happens a lot because when I was getting urine test, there was another guy getting urine test too, but his incident was different from mine. And they didn't even give him a breathalyzer. He just hit another machine. I didn't even hit a machine, but he got a urine test and no breathalyzer.
So something that has nothing to do with you, you're put in this undignified and harassing position. Well, Kimberly, what about yourself, given what Heather has said and what Masood has been saying?
Absolutely, I agree with everything that Heather has said. For every reason that she has said. Also, when I first started with Amazon 2 years ago, it became like really clear really quickly that Amazon absolutely puts production over employee safety. And, it just kind of made me sick that people I was starting with, that I had started with, within a month, either they can't walk or their arm is in a sling or they're out on disability. I myself was only there a month before I wound up in the hospital with a hernia, which incidentally, they let me sit on the floor and then had me walk to the dock like every 3 months.
They do.
And especially now,
Yep.
They want as many new people in there as possible now. So they just got off a major firing spree, and now they're on a hiring spree.
Mm-hmm.
So
There's no job security. Right. There's no job security at all.
No job security at all. And I think with the union backing us and people can realize exactly what a union can provide for them,
Mm-hmm.
they may be more apt to put more into their job. But, there's, as of right now, people are limping home. They're in
Right.
so much pain. And I was telling Heather this morning,
Mm-hmm.
I can't even lift my arms out. My shoulders are burning me from this past week. But
There's these... Right. No, definitely. So I think collectively we all agree that job security is one of the primary agendas with the union. We need people to come to work to know that they have an opportunity. The promotions are promised. It's funny because they say or they claim that ALU doesn't have any experience, doesn't know how to negotiate a contract, and makes promises. The thing is, they're dismissing the fact that Amazon has frequently made promises to employees to have a review of wages. But what they're neglecting to disclose is that they are using the retail market as a comparative measure when it comes to wage increase, not warehouse. So there's a lot of negligence that Amazon is currently employing to workers to distract from the reality that Amazon has been making promises. Their minimum wage has been $15 since 2018. So if they review, if they review wages annually, then what has happened over the course of the last 4 years that Amazon has not offered a consistent wage increase? In 2018,
Yet has promised it.
Right, has made those promises.
And if I may, I just want to bring Masood back into the discussion too. And I'm interested why Masood, who has been working there somewhat less time than yourself, Kimberly, and Heather. Masood, why did you go to work at Amazon? And what are your feelings about it now? You like the people, but your feelings about the employer?
What I basically feel is that should be paid for the work that we do. Reason why I left Amazon is, applied for Amazon because of the hours. I had to work around my son working because I had to pick him up from work. That's the reason why I chose to work at Amazon.
Mm.
But it's not because of pay. Pay is
Right. Yeah, and I would agree with you there, Mr. That was a big factor for me also in choosing to go to Amazon and apply was the flexible hours that it did provide me. As a caretaker for my mom, it just made it really easy for me to, juggle both. But I I actually found out the other day that because I am a flex employee, which means I'm not full-time, I basically can choose my hours every week. I just have to meet a certain criteria, number of hours. But I did not realize this, but by being on flex, I am not eligible for raises. So I'm sitting there talking, and the people who have been there more than a year less than me are making more than me. I make $15, $20 an hour after being there since they opened. And these people are making more than me, and I found out through HR that, oh yeah, because you're on flex, they changed the policy, and you do not get raises. So I feel like as long as I'm on flex and taking care of my mom, I'll never get a raise. I'll never get beyond 16, 20.
Yeah, that's a very
You know?
good point.
And at this point, it's, yeah.
Very good point.
Yeah, well, exactly. You know, it's really very disconcerting, and you know, the longer I stay there, it isn't going to matter. You know, at this point, I love the people I work with. They're very, very assiduous people, and you know, everyone's there for a certain reason. It's obviously not everybody's dream job that they dream to having, but I'm thinking it's a reputable company, and how bad can it be? Until my first day walking in there, and as Heather has pointed out on many occasions, I see just such safety issues that it just hits you right in the face. I was giving them the benefit of the doubt. They'd only been open a week. I'm thinking, well, this can't last. Well, 2 years later, you know, you're dealing with the same exact problem from day one that they opened. And I think the only reason anything has changed in there is because OSHA was there a couple weeks ago.
And we'll talk about OSHA in a minute, which is the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, and those conditions. But, you know, what, and I know that Ken is chomping at the bit to talk about those occupational safety and health violations, but could each one of you describe what you actually do there so that we understand what the nature of the job is, and then many of the injuries that flow? And I want to start again with Masood, since he's the one who had the particular problem physically and suffered the consequences through no fault of his own on this past weekend. So talk a little about what you actually do, and then how it can lead to health and safety violations. Masood, what describe your work for us.
I'm a picker. What I do is I operate a machine that's basically a forklift with a cage on it. I go through aisles picking out items for the delivery that they want.
During a slammer, as a packer, if I'm packing, what I will do is grab the cage that the pickers have put the items into that they have just picked. And these cages are chock full of, like Heather said, of big items, air conditioners, dressers, furniture, cat litters, you name it. So it would be my job to take each item out of the cage and box them in the appropriate box and send them down the conveyor belt where they go through a tape machine, and then the slammer gets it. And once the slammer gets this box, it's put on a scale and weighed, and the shipping label spits out of the machine, and you put the label on the box and you send it on down onto another conveyor belt, which goes up and around the warehouse and ends up on the dock.
So what happens to you physically? Just
physically, when we do get the cages from the pickers, they are on a time crunch because they have to reach quotas. They're picking off a screen. I believe it gives them the order in which it needs to be picked. And I will grab this cage that will have, say, a 50-pound bag of dog food on the very top, and I have to get this 50-pound bag of dog food off, it's off the top of the cage, and carry it down and put it on my table and build the box. These boxes, and if you're doing a multi, which could be 2 bags of dog food, they are very, very heavy, and I do try to do the proper technique in walking the box over and, bending at the knees and lifting it up to get it on the conveyor belt. But let's face it, I mean,
I think we are
there's
facing it. I think you're giving graphic pictures of the dangers, of the physical stress and strain, the repetitive motion, and so on, and the fact that there is equipment that is appropriate for safety. But, Ken,
What I want to find out is, now you've described these abysmal conditions, and this has led you to begin an organizing drive in the shops there. What has been management's reaction to that? Do they just sort of sit back and see what's going on, or do they take some kind of proactive thing to?
It's.
do you want this one, Heather?
Oh my God! I'm sorry. Finish your question. We're all just dying here.
well, tell it like it is. Tell it like it is.
Okay, so it's psychological warfare. Okay, it is an absolute war zone. Sit back? No. Every single day we have somebody who's terminated. There are employees who are forced into what they refer to as safety meetings, but really in the meetings they are showing slideshows to employees telling them, do not sign a card. I mean, it is a blatant lie when you tell an employee signing a card has consequences. Some of those consequences could lead to us, meaning the ALU, giving third parties their signed cards where these third parties will show up at their houses. I mean, and then management saying that the ALU can't make any promises and you're signing a contract and it's legally binding. And I mean, they are literally walking up to employees, under the guise that they want to talk about the working conditions. However, there it comes that they're asking about how they feel about the union. There is rights being violated every single day, and Amazon violates the law because they know filing ULPs will take time, and by then they have destroyed the
unfair labor practice.
It is. Yep. Oh, sorry. Yes. And here is the latest, most offensive tactic of theirs. So they have been claiming that the ALU will give their personal information to third parties. And they have used that over and over. However, they now have an attorney calling employees to solicit legal representation, asking employees to sign a retainer for the possible upcoming federal OSHA investigation. And then when the employee starts to ask questions to this unsolicited attorney, a third party with the employee's personal information, the attorney then backs off a little and then suggests that if they were harassed by a union representative, that they could get legal counsel. So that to me should be harassment, that you have provided their personal information without their permission to have an attorney call an employee and solicit legal representation. That to me is something that the public needs to be made aware of. That is how intrusive.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, and they're accusing Amazon is spreading the word, accusing the ALU and those of us supporting it on the committee that we are harassing them and that we will be calling them and we may show up at their house. And the only correspondence anybody is getting is from Amazon. Nobody is getting any, harassment from the ALU. We just keep getting these text messages.
Yeah, and let me get back, Masood, into this discussion also, because I'm interested in why you then decide, because obviously there's threats, there's intimidation, there's harassment, there's all kinds of connivance and maneuvering by the union. Oh, pity downtrodden Bezos, whose back is all burned in bed by these workers.
Sorry.
But Masood, why then, in the face of this, do you decide that you want a union? Because unions get an awful bad rap in the public and in mass media, and you're being harassed by the company lawyers and so on. So why do you then say, I'm joining, I'm signing the card, and I want an election in our warehouse for an Amazon workers union, an Amazon labor union. Why did you do that, Masood?
Because basically my other job was a union job. So I've seen how a union actually is for the people. Like they can, they'll actually back you. And that's why I was for the union. And I already knew once I came to the job and I seen how Amazon didn't want the union, I already knew. I had a feeling in my head like, oh, so y'all don't want the pay because y'all want to clean house, keep cleaning the house, rotating. You know, so y'all don't really have the pay doesn't go up because you keep cleaning the house. And that's how I said it's a revolving door most likely. That's why they don't want the union there, because they know if they get the union in, they're gonna have to pay the workers what they worth, and they ain't gonna be able to get rid of people like they want to do.
And we are listening to Building Bridges, and that's what we always do with Ken Nash and Mimi Rosenberg, and we're speaking with Heather Goodall and Kimberly Rowland and Masood Abdullah, and we have just minutes left. So tell us what we need to do to support you and what the next steps are for you now that you signed up, I guess, 400 people with cards. You've got an OSHA, Occupational Health and Safety Administration, coming in to look at the health and safety conditions. So how do you proceed to get that union that Masood was just talking about is so imperative, which he certainly understands because he came from a union shop.
And if I might add, excuse me, with as well as Masood, I also came from a union shop. For 25 years, I was in a union. And when I first stepped into Amazon, it just blew my mind that this place was not union. But I was told, Kim, stop, don't say that. Stop saying that so loud. I'm like, why? I mean, this is like what unions are made for, is for a place like this. But I'm sorry, I just had to throw that in.
Oh, no,
that's
throw
awesome.
it in.
Yes,
Throw it in. You have that experience.
Yes.
Yeah, just like Masood, I've seen what you can do. I had the protection. I didn't have fear in me of losing my job.
Right.
I knew that it would progressive discipline. I knew that I was going to get a decent wage.
Right.
As well as
So yeah, Kim, we only have a couple moments, so I think part of what we at ALB1 is asking for the public to help in supporting us. Right now, please go to our ALB1 Voices United on Facebook. Our Twitter is ALB1 United. We really need the public to demand that the anti-union propaganda, the coercion, the suggestive phrasing, the retaliation stops. And Amazon is not going to do it voluntarily. They are going to continue to harass and intimidate workers. We are asking the public to please send that support and tell Amazon to stop. I have announced the general manager is Nicholas Slouts. He is the ALB1 manager. Please send an email to schlatzn@amazon.com. So
Now, my organizer friend, you got to do that one more time so we can write it down.
Okay.
Everybody's poised with their pens or typing it into their type. Who uses the word type anymore? Punching it in. Old school. They're putting it in their computer or their phone. So do that again, Heather.
Sure. Okay, it's SCHLATZN like Nancy at Amazon.com. We're asking the public to step up with us and shut down the lies. Shut down and give us an opportunity to have a fair fight and to have a fair election. And Amazon is being extremely aggressive, and the public needs to be aware of exactly what's going on, and we need your support. Please.
You have our support, and I know you have our audience's support, so the audience, please use those contact numbers, and we are very, very happy to have been speaking to Heather Goodall, Kimberly Rowland, Masood Abdullah, Amazon worker organizers. Thanks for getting up, standing up, and fighting the good fight for unions.
And by the way, are you folks in touch with, you must be, with Chris Smalls, with their enormous victory at the Amazon Workers Union in the Staten Island JFK fulfillment site warehouse plant?
They'll be here tomorrow.
There's communication?
There is. They'll be here tomorrow at ALB 1 in Albany.
Oh, right on.
Good.
So workers of the world unite. You have nothing to lose but your chains in a world to win. So you folks just lastly also talking to people in other places who are Amazon workers?
Say that again. I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question?
Are you also speaking with them, trying to organize and communicate and draw collective lessons with Amazon workers and other venues as well?
Yes, absolutely. We are working with Illinois, Kentucky. I was just introduced recently to North Carolina. So we definitely are trying to organize solidarity across the nation. And, at the end of the day, the only way that we're really going to win is if the consumers support our union efforts and tell Amazon to stop harassing employees and taking away their rights. And for us as Amazonians to stand together, New York, Alabama, North Carolina, Illinois, it has to be united. And that's what we stand for. And we will win. We will make this happen.
Yeah.
No, I don't doubt that for a moment. I just can't wait to come to the victory salute and meet all of you in person. Masood Abdullah, Kimberly Rowland, Heather Goodall. You're exciting us. You're energizing us. And you're doing this without huge resources, but you're doing it on the most important thing, which is really the blood, sweat, and tears and incentives and organizing skills of who? The workers, the working class. Thank you for what you do, and we'll be at that celebration and take seriously call. And then we've got to make sure that Bezos gives people the contract that they desire and they need. Thanks, friends.
Thank you very much.
And all of you who